Brian Sapient here. Just woke up and saw a video response to one of the videos we posted last night. I'm just going to address it here and take it piece by piece. I've only seen it once, and I just knew I had to put up a response to it, so forgive me if I miss points. It says, I'm Ed, I'm an atheist. A rational response, well, to hell with challenge, the blasphemy challenge. I took it. I stand by my decision and still remain an atheist. That's the one thing you have to remember throughout this video. I'm an atheist. I'm standing up for the Bible. Why? I don't know, because you're silly, I guess? Recently, they have uploaded a video by someone named David Mills. He is apparently the author of Atheist Universe. That's not where my problem lies. In the video in question, he uses the Bible to pick up dog feces. I guess you're going to have to watch the video, obviously, too. It doesn't take a Christian to be offended by this act. Myself and my friends work hard to prove to our community and the world that atheists are just as good as Christians. We have morals like them. We have respect for our fellow man. Okay. This is where it starts. I mean, I could have touched on the first page, but I'm not going to. He says, well, you know what, I will. David Mills, he says, David Mills is apparently the author of Atheist Universe. You maybe should have done a little research on David Mills before you made this video. David Mills, is an intellectual. He's written probably what's considered to be one of the best 5 atheist books of the last 20-some years. If in fact you can listen to the second chapter of Atheist Universe at his website, davidmills.net, I believe it is. And so, in fact, in his book, he even argues that, atheists do have morals as good as Christians. Anyway, he says here that he works hard to prove to our community that the world that atheists are just as good as Christians. Well, why don't you check out atheistvolunteers.org to see how good we are. In fact, I've noticed that much of the Christian hate that comes our way, the people who engage in that sort of hate, I won't even use the word hate. The people who don't agree with us, that are constantly speaking out against us, they're not doing much in terms of public showing of generosity and love. They just preach it. So check out atheistvolunteers.org, where we're actually doing things. Okay, he says we have morals like them. Well, we have morals like how Christians are supposed to be, or we have morals like what they've ended up like, because the morals like what Christians are supposed to be are some of the most despicable morals that anybody could ever possibly embrace. Read Old Testament law, counter that with the fact that Jesus said, "Think not that I've come to change the law, but I've come to uphold the law." And you'll see that Christian morals aren't good morals. Let's look at Christian leadership. Let's look at our leadership. You look at President Bush. Okay, President Bush is a Christian. Believes he was given the office of president by God, and he lied to commit a war in Iraq. He lied to go murder people for greed. Okay, for power, for what? You guys can debate this all day. For oil, for greed, for money, for power, for revenge, whatever it is. The point is, it was all the wrong reasons. Okay, so I don't have morals like them. Thank you. I'm better than that. He says we have respect for our fellow man. I don't know about that. I don't know if you have real respect for your fellow man. Your fellow man is being misled and misguided, and you are directly opposed to things that would shake them up. Seeing feces picked up by pieces of the Bible, while I admit isn't exactly something that I would do, and put it on YouTube, giving David Mills past history, I think that I can, understand and, get an idea of where he's coming from. And I think that it's partly because David Mills wants Christians to be able to abandon their delusions, that he would make such a statement. But then someone like David comes along. His tasteless attempt to show his feelings for the Bible, or lack thereof, set us all back. Everything we worked for to show that we aren't just some evil, heartless culture was trashed in one man's immaturity. Alright, first of all, yeah, fine. Maybe it was somewhat immature. At the same time, maybe it was also, making a statement. And, I think the first sentence here on this page is really telling. Or actually, first and second sentence. You think that David Mills set you back? David Mills has probably done, in fact, who were you? I've never heard of you. I can't even confirm that you're an atheist. On your profile, you've removed your Blasphemy Challenge video, if you have one. You claim that you still support the Blasphemy Challenge, but yet there is no Blasphemy Challenge video. The only video you have up is a video attacking atheists, claiming to be an atheist. So, I'm not saying that you're not an atheist, but, show me. Prove it. Alright? You think that I'm going to buy this act that David Mills set us all back? David Mills has pushed us forward. His book is one of the most important atheist book in our lives. It's an excellent book. Excellent book. It covers areas that Dawkins and Harris don't really cover, and it covers it in a great way. You have to pick up the book. You have to read it. So, people like David Mills are pushing us forward and helping atheists, to be able to live in this world, this Christian-dominated world, where we are shown everywhere that, we're not to be trusted, or that, we're less people, and, forgive me, man, I just woke up, but, this kind of statement is ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. He hasn't set us back, and I haven't seen you push us forward, that's for sure. So, here. To make matters worse, the person running the camera was his own kid. At least that's what it sounds like. What kind of father figure teaches his kids that it's the right way to act or talk? Whatever happened to bringing up your kid with values? Okay, this is bullshit. How do you know how David Mills brings up his kid? Because his kid was holding the camera? Maybe his kid is adequately equipped to handle the fact that curse words are merely just curse words, or that, or to understand that the Bible is merely just a work of fiction, like most kids should be brought up. Okay? What kind of father figure teaches their children that the right way to embrace knowledge is to utilize faith to believe that the Bible is true? Alright? We could turn this around all day long. Alright? This is, so what? It was his kid. You're not in his house. You don't know how his family operates. Alright? I don't see anything wrong with the kid. Kid sounded like he was 12 or 13. What kind of father figure teaches their kid that there's such a thing, there's actually such a thing as a bad word? Is that your problem with the cursing? Or with, the fact that he's denigrating the Bible? Because if it's the cursing, in my opinion, there is no such thing as a bad word. There are words that have bad connotations. The ones David was using have bad connotations, but at the same time, the words shut and up are not bad words, but when you put them together and you scream them at somebody, that has a bad connotation. And it's, I think, worse in terms of respect than stubbing your toe and saying, oh fuck. So, whatever. It's not a big deal that his kid was in the video, and whatever happened to bringing your kid up with values, that question is ridiculous. You have no idea how he raises his kids. None. Regardless of what I think about the Bible or Christianity, I would never deface something of theirs. It doesn't prove anything. Okay, so you don't think it's the Word of God. Neither do I. That doesn't make it okay to literally shit on someone else's beliefs. Alright, first of all, plenty of Christians would argue that your involvement in the Blasphemy Challenge, if you ever really were involved in the Blasphemy Challenge, is akin to defacing their beliefs or shitting on their beliefs. Alright? Yes, not in the literal sense, but then again, neither did he. It was dog poo. He used it to clean it up, so he didn't literally shit on their beliefs. But fine, whatever. The point is that, your involvement in the Blasphemy Challenge is seen by many Christians out there right now to be extremely offensive. Alright? So, don't kid yourself. if you do, what makes you any better than the radical Christians who protest at soldiers' funerals? What makes you any better than the people who say atheists have no soul and there is no way they can have morals without being religious? Nothing. Okay, bullshit. What makes me better? I don't believe in things that I can't prove. Okay? There's a big difference there. And this argument is probably the worst argument that anybody can fire at atheists, and they do it all day long. The only people that do it are Christians that I've ever seen. There are, I apologize. There are a bunch of atheists that do it, but it's a very poor argument because the reason why we speak up is because there are people who literally believe in something without proof. All right, and they live their lives as if that thing is real. I don't speak up because. Well, I do speak up because Christians protest at soldiers' funerals, but David wasn't doing that. He was picking up dog poo with a piece of paper from a fictional book, okay? I mean, would you have a problem if he had used Mary Had a Little Lamb? Well, what if there was a 5-year-old out there that really loved Mary Had a Little Lamb? It was their favorite story. And you just disrespected Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, I mean, come on, let's get real, okay? It was a piece of paper. It wasn't a protest at a soldier's funeral, which I think most people would agree is a very disrespectful act. However, the biggest problem that we have with theists is that they believe things without proof. Personally, I hear this one a lot. People say, you guys are like atheist preachers. You constantly are talking about religion and you're constantly trying to get people to be how you are. The irony is that when somebody says something like that, they're actually trying to change you. They're trying to make you like them. They're trying to make you become more moderate. And by doing that, they're actually doing exactly what they say that you shouldn't be doing. Now, I don't have a problem with Christians that try to teach others that proselytize, that try to teach others to be Christian. Personally, I think that's a great quality. I think it's a great thing that people try to convince other people of what they believe. What I don't think is great is that people arrive at a conclusion without reasonable evidence, logic, some good critical thinking skills, and a thorough examination of what it is that they believe and what the proof is for it. Okay? I don't have beliefs, and I'll offer $20 to anybody that can send me an email, sapien@rationalresponders.com. A lot of people know me. I'm very public. And, let me know one thing that you say that I take on faith, that I don't have proof for, or at least some sort of reasonable expectation or reasonable evidence for. All right? Because that's what makes me different than Christians, okay? There's a big difference there, all right? One's completely irrational, and the other one has semblance of rationality to it. Okay, the Rational Response Squad embodies rational thinking and the education of the population. It is supposed to be about teaching both religion and evolution and letting people make their own conclusions. It's not about hate speech or Bible defacement. Okay. Actually, we don't have any problem with Bible defacement. That isn't what the Rational Response Squad is about. You're right. And it's also not about hate speech, that's for sure. However, what you think the Rational Response Squad about is false. You think that it's supposed to be about teaching both religion and evolution and letting people make their own conclusions. All right. Well, yeah, fine. You're close. But really what it's about is finding what things are being taught in the world, what concepts are being pushed forth in the world that are irrational and responding to them rationally. To be honest, I don't think that picking up dog poo with the Bible is actually irrational at all. I think, if anything, it's a somewhat rational response to the sort of ridiculousness, the sort of bullshit that's offered in the Bible as a literal truth. You're dealing with the biggest, the widely held conspiracy on earth. One of the most destructive forces that the world has ever known, religion. It has held us back scientifically. You know what? I don't even want to make a case against religion in this video. You guys can look, if you don't know who we are, we have a radio show on Friday nights at 9 o'clock. It's broadcast from freethoughtmedia.com. It's also on rationalresponders.com on the left-hand side. You can tune in. You can hang out with us in our webcam rooms. We're in there all the time with a large community of people, and we also have a message board forum. And we also have, if you come to our website, rationalresponders.com, on the left-hand side, it says free RRS shows, and you can click and listen to a bunch of shows at any given time for free, and there's a lot of conversations there with Christians, and so you can hear arguments against religion there. I don't want to make them in this video, but the point is, religion is dangerous. It should not be a concept that is held on our planet. And, you know, I think that any action that shakes somebody up, that gets somebody to go, I don't care if they walk away disgusted, all right? If you know, you guys, a lot of times people say, oh, well, if you make them disgusted, they're just not going to listen. Well, fine, then they won't listen to us. But you know what? They'll probably have that image in their head for a month. And then you, Ed, you and your good guy, atheist, you know, agenda can come around and teach them in your good guy manner. And maybe they'll be more receptive to that information, okay, had they never have heard or seen this sort of confrontation that David Mills put forth. So, yeah, here we go. Move on a little bit. I, for one, not only denounce the Holy Spirit, I denounce the Rational Response Squad. Oh, yeah? Does that mean we don't exist? And everything they stand for until the video in question is removed and an apology is issued. I won't be part of something I don't believe in, regardless of who runs it. Okay, well, I applaud you for not being part of something that you don't believe in. That's great. It's the smartest thing you've said in this video. Denounce the Rational Response Squad and everything we stand for. Okay, so you now think then that religion is good, that you denounce that that religion is false. So now you say that religion is true. Pick one. I'm curious which one you'll pick. Or maybe next time want to take this emotional argument, this silly kind of emotional argument out of your video. And then, yeah, I'm not going to issue an apology. If anybody would issue an apology, it would maybe be David Mills. I don't see any reason why he would. And the video in question will not be removed by me or anybody who logs into our account to use it. Oh, thanks. Oh, for what it's worth, I mean, while this is loading up, you know, David said I can use the video for whatever I want. He sent it to me in the box of 25 books, and so, you know, I figured I'd just load it up onto YouTube. But I know YouTube is a very public forum. I understand that, but you know, a lot of what we do too is just like, you know, loading up videos for friends who would appreciate it. And if you can't appreciate it, that's fine. Move on. You know. This is something that, you know, some of our friends, I saw it and I kind of thought it was funny, and, you know, it wasn't a big deal, and I obviously didn't think it was a very good case for, you know, atheism, but I recognize that David has written a brilliant book that does make a good case for atheism, so, you know, I cut him some slack, you know. Okay, so he says, all men are created equal. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I mean, that's a theistic statement right there. We're all created equal? Are you sure about that? Are you sure you took part in the blasphemy challenge? Created equal, huh? Okay. Alright. Was it somebody with Down syndrome? Were they created by God equal to me? Or maybe through evolution, people aren't all created equal. We all have lives, but we're not all equal. Some of us are smarter, some of us are less intelligent, some of us have, you know, we're born as vegetables. You know, some of us have autism, some of us have Down syndrome, some of us are born with really bad diseases that and disorders, and they don't make us equal. Okay, some of us don't have the ability to think critically, and some of us do. Okay, their choice in religion or lack thereof does not make them any more or less of a man. Okay, fine. Well, whatever. It does make them less of a thinker. That's for damn sure. The defacing of another person's beliefs is not something anyone should support, let alone a rational thinking group of people. That's interesting. So, what if we, you know, I don't know, lived 50 years ago and Hitler was burning millions of Jews? Would it have been disrespectful or something that we shouldn't have supported, if we defaced the beliefs of Hitler, if we spray painted over Hitler sign when we went into Germany and invaded, better yet, when we go to war and attack other cultures. I mean, I don't think there's that's much more than defacing. This argument is really poor, man, really poor, and I hope you realize just how much it does not look like you're an atheist. And I recognize there's obviously atheists out there who lack critical thinking skills and who like to put out positive affirmative views without doing much research, and they just get these emotional responses and this sort of brainwashing indoctrination that comes from religion a lot of times too. Like, people, they are told, this is great, it's the best one. I mean, I kind of covered this earlier, but Christians will always be like, oh, well, why can't we just respect other people's beliefs? You should respect other people's beliefs. Respect other people's beliefs. And these are the people that are pushing for the 10 Commandments to be put on courthouse walls. These are the people who are trying to outlaw, gay marriage because they don't want those people to be allowed to get married. And yet these are the same people that say we should respect other people's beliefs. Okay? Now, that extreme hypocrisy there, all right, has somehow gotten into the minds. I know, I was there. I was there 3 years ago. I was there. All right? I was the guy saying, let's respect other people's beliefs. And I was doing things differently. And even more so, 10 years ago, it was even more so. But I realized over time that the people who are saying this are people who often disrespect other people's beliefs. And furthermore, if you say to somebody, you should stop that. You should respect other people's beliefs. Well, what if my belief is to do what I'm doing? What if David Mills' belief is that it's okay to pick up feces with the Bible, and somebody else comes along to him and says, that's disrespectful, you should respect other people's beliefs? Well, what that person just did was so extremely and obviously hypocritical that the words should have never come out of their mouth. Okay, the person who said the person who would, in this hypothetical situation, say that to David Mills, and this isn't a stretch to imagine this. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people that will say it probably that won't even see this video. Those people are telling David that they don't respect his beliefs, that they don't respect the way that he has chosen to be, okay? Because in order to respect their beliefs, they would have to allow him to hold their beliefs without confrontation, all right? So, yeah, there you go. And, just FYI, sometimes I think the rational thing to do would be to, in a metaphorical sense, deface somebody else's beliefs, okay? Especially when those beliefs are so extremely dangerous and so extremely void of all sorts of critical thought and so destructive. The rational thing to do is to, in a metaphorical sense, deface them. I'm an atheist. You say it again. I stand for freedom of choice. Oh, so do you respect our freedom of choice to post the video? Do you respect David's freedom of choice to, do what he did in the video and put up the dog poo, pick up the dog poo with the Bible? I stand for freedom to live and not be judged by anyone, God or otherwise. Interesting. So you don't want people to judge other people, and yet you just created a video doing basically nothing but judging us. And there's the hypocrisy again. I believe the word is pwned. I stand for freedom to give my opinion and hear others in turn. Oh, well, you got David's opinion. The Bible is a worthless book of bullshit. That's his opinion. And you didn't respect it. It didn't seem like you respected our choice to post it because you wanted to issue an ultimatum to us. And FYI, I respect your right to issue an ultimatum. And actually, I would prefer it if you just didn't even view our videos anymore, because I'm not sure if you can handle them. And additionally, you tell us that you don't think that anybody should judge anybody else as you judge us for 3.5 minutes. Thanks, hypocrite. Think about it. What do you stand for? Well, I'm not a hypocrite. KillTrend Media, dare to challenge the norm. You know, buddy, you actually just fit into the norm, man. You just became the norm, okay? The norm is this ridiculous statement. Let's see here if this works. The norm is this ridiculous statement that we should respect other people's beliefs as we disrespect their beliefs. And I know you didn't say those exact words in the video, but that's basically what you're putting forth. And you've actually just become a conformist. You did not challenge the norm, my friend.